Hoge, take us through what went wrong as Cairo Santos had his field goal blocked here from 43 yards out.
Yeah, and Woot, feel free to chime in on here too, because I know you've done this for a living. But first of all, let's just set up the situation. So we've all discussed that Cairo Santos tends to kick a low ball. Okay, we've heard Carl Brooks come out say that they tried something they hadn't done before, at least they hadn't put on tape. But when you're facing a kicker, especially from a distance kick, where you're trying to block a low kick, like you're not going to have much luck coming around the edge, okay? Oh, this actually isn't drawing. That's not good. Okay. That should work. Okay. So you have two options, right? You can try to come along the edge there, but realistically, if you're facing a low kick, what you want to do is attack inside, right? And Woot knows this. Get penetration. It's really simple. Just try to get as much penetration as you can and get your hands up with your big, long offensive or defensive lineman, right? So the Bears have 3 guys here, okay, and the Packers are going to take 5 of their players and essentially attack both A-gaps with 5 players. Okay, so it's 5-on-3. So if you think about, like, offensively, you're always trying to create double teams with an offensive line. Here in this situation, trying to block an inside field goal, you're trying to essentially double team these 3 guys in the middle, okay, and get upfield into one of those gaps, which is what Carl Brooks is able to do here. Now, I froze this specifically in this spot because you can see a lot of things here. One, you can actually see his eyes, man. He knows exactly where he's attacking. He had his eyes on the ball right here, right? You could tell he was timing up the snap as best as he could. Matt Pryor has not moved. He's still in his stance. I'll let you chime in on that. Like the advantage that even in this screenshot that you can tell Carl Brooks has.
The only way this play will work is if he gets penetration. If Matt Pryor just steps when the ball is snapped, this will never get blocked at all. Because that's what you're hoping. You get a little bit of penetration. You get your big, long arm up there, tip the ball. But if Matt Pryor, when the ball snap goes down there, Carl Brooks is gonna put his hands up and then stick his hands up. So he's going to be an additional 2 yards further than he is. He gets penetration a couple yards in the backfield, gets his hand up. That's why the ball's tipped. So if Matt Pryor just moves on time, this never happens.
And then meanwhile, these other 2 hats up here, these Packers, like they're basically going to push Carl Brooks and attacking these guys, just try to help him get that penetration there, which is exactly what ends up working. This is at the spot of the hold, okay?
And see where Carl Brooks is, right? He's already split between that A-gap. That's trouble right there.
He's already coming through. You can see Matt Pryor's just holding on for dear life with his right arm.
Exactly.
He's already won that penetration. Now, I've heard some of the comments in here, and it's a fair point to bring up, right? You can't line up over the snapper. You can't use leverage. But if you really watch this up close, he does not leverage any of the players. Nope. He's not pushing off the snapper. You go back to the first shot we had here. No one's lined up over the center. This is completely legal. And unfortunately, I didn't have time to pull out the last screenshot that I was going to. But if you look at it from this angle that we're looking at it right now, Larry Borum and Scott Daly, the long snapper, end up on their ass down here. I don't have a problem with that. Because usually even if you're on your ass at the end of the play, you kept everyone in front of you. You probably didn't give up a ton of penetration. If you look at it from the opposite angle, which again, I didn't have time to get this, but the end of this angle, okay, Matt Pryor's over here with all these Packers behind him, which means you went right through them. They got past you. You ended up on the wrong side of the play. And that's essentially, shout out to Rich Bisaccia here. I mean, he came up with exactly the type of block you should draw up against a low kick in a key moment. There's some luck involved, but also Carl Brooks made the play off the snap. He got the penetration. Yeah. The guy he's going up against did not, and he just barely got his fingertip on it.
They went through him like I'm going to go through a Taco Bell bag here later.
Oh!
We all silly like the mayor.